How does a small refrigerator parts manufacturer from China end up owning Volvo and Lotus and even running Smart through a joint venture with Mercedes-Benz? Geely's story is one of quiet ambition, marked by reverse engineering luxury cars, navigating brand challenges, and making bold overseas deals that few thought possible. To understand how Geely made this leap, we need to start at the very beginning. At 19, Li Shufu opened a small photography shop in 1982, expanding it into a camera store and earning his first million renminbi by 1984. This experience taught him to identify business opportunities and adapt to customer needs. Seeing the growing demand for refrigerators in China, Li began making fridge parts and started Geely as a parts company. The business grew fast, and by 1987, he launched the Arctic Fridge brand. When regulations forced him to stop making fridges, he switched to making aluminum magnesium boards in 1991. Li kept changing direction as needed to keep his business moving. Li watched markets closely and was quick to change plans. In 1993, he saw an opportunity in motorcycles. He bought a state-run company and used its technology to make China's first scooter. Without an engineering background, Li and his team learned from reverse engineering other motorcycles and improving on them. Each new step built on what came before. Motorcycles allowed Li to think about cars next. In the mid-1990s, private companies in China were not expected to build cars, and many doubted a small firm like Geely could do it. Li wanted to prove Chinese companies could make cars as well as foreign brands. He admired Mercedes-Benz and wanted to learn. Li bought a Mercedes, took it apart, and studied how it was made. His team could not reassemble it, but they learned enough to make Geely's first prototype in 1996, a simple copy built on a Hongqi chassis. In 1998, Geely made its first production car, the Haoqing, a low-cost model based on the Daihatsu Charade. Early Geely cars were cheap but had many quality complaints and were seen as copies. They still sold, and Geely became one of the few private car makers in China. Li listened to feedback and worked on solving problems. He invested in better engineering and tools, aiming for improved cars. He focused on branding and tried to move beyond cheap vehicles. But Geely's early image in the 2000s was still shaped by low prices and poor quality. The brand struggled with trust, especially when trying to sell overseas, as stories of bad quality followed. In 2003, a Geely model scored only a 10% survival rate in a crash test, drawing public concern and making Geely a symbol of low standards in Chinese manufacturing. This reputation followed Geely as it tried to enter foreign markets. Buyers and regulators doubted that a Chinese brand could meet global standards. The label low-cost brand made it hard for Geely to build trust outside China. For Li Shufu, these doubts were about more than cars. They were about national pride. By 2007, Geely's leaders knew they needed a major change. Competing on price was no longer enough, as buyers wanted better performance and safety. On May 18, 2007, Geely released the Ningbo Declaration, a public promise to shift from low-cost vehicles to a new focus on quality, technology, and reliability. With the Ningbo Declaration, Geely committed to using better technology and started investing in independent research and development. The company aimed to raise its standards in every area, including design, engineering, and service. Geely moved to achieve ISO 9000 certification and upgraded factories with new equipment and processes. The company set up new research centers in Hangzhou and Ningbo. Nearly half of Geely's workforce shifted to research and development, targeting better engines, safer cars, and standout new features. The goal was to compete with top international brands. Change happened slowly, and many doubted that Geely could overcome its image as a maker of cheap cars. But the company's new models delivered safer features, better handling, and improved fuel efficiency, bringing them closer to the standards of global brands. As a result, Geely's sales in China increased, and the company gained more attention internationally. Years later, Volvo Cars CEO Håkan Samuelsson said, "Nobody would have thought it could be Geely, but today it is a good guess." His words showed how much Geely had changed since its days as a low-cost brand. The Ningbo Declaration was when Geely chose to lead instead of follow.
After a 2-year courtship, Ford has signed a deal to sell Volvo to Chinese carmaker Geely for a price tag of $1.8 billion. It is less than a third of what Ford bought Volvo for a decade ago, but it's the largest acquisition of a foreign carmaker by a Chinese company yet.
The move surprised many, given Geely's reputation for affordable cars in China and Volvo's global standing for safety and design. There were doubts about Geely's ability to manage such a significant international acquisition and whether the two separate companies could merge successfully. Ford bought Volvo in 1999, but decided to sell it after years of financial trouble. Volvo had not made a profit since 2005. For Li Shufu, buying Volvo was a way for Geely to gain technology, a global brand, and strong skills in safety and quality. He believed Volvo could help Geely improve in design and brand building. Geely let Volvo run as an independent company with its own management and its main office in Sweden. Volvo kept control over car design and engineering. This helped staff and customers trust that Volvo's quality would not change. Geely and Volvo created a cooperation committee to manage the partnership and set rules for technology sharing. This committee ensured Geely did not cut corners and that new Geely models using Volvo tech met safety and quality standards. At first, there were disagreements about what new cars to focus on. Li wanted larger cars for China, while Volvo wanted safer, smaller cars. The two sides worked out compromises. Volvo stayed true to its brand, and Geely gained new models for China. Soon after the deal, Volvo returned to profit. Sales grew worldwide, and especially in China. Volvo's brand remained strong, giving Geely new markets. At the same time, Volvo entered the fast-growing Chinese luxury market. A major result was the Compact Modular Architecture (CMA) platform. This shared base allowed Volvo, Geely, and Lynk & Co. to build many different cars using the same core technology. It raised safety and features while lowering costs and speeding up development. Other joint projects like the 1.5 TD engine and 7 DCT transmission followed. For Geely, buying Volvo showed a Chinese automaker could succeed globally by partnering and learning, not just copying. The deal gave Geely new technology and more trust worldwide. In 2017, Geely bought a 51% stake in Lotus, a British sports car brand known for engineering and lightweight design. Lotus had been struggling, but Geely invested in its future. Lotus began to update its business and released the all-electric Evija hypercar. This helped Lotus enter the luxury electric car market using Geely's support for research and new ideas. Geely wanted Lotus to keep its identity while adapting to new market needs. Geely also used Lotus's engineering skills in its own cars. Knowledge from Lotus in areas like lightweight materials and chassis design was shared across Geely, raising its standards in segments it hadn't reached before. In 2019, Geely and Mercedes-Benz formed a joint venture to relaunch Smart as an all-electric global brand. Production moved to China, but Mercedes-Benz continued to handle design. This partnership allowed Geely to benefit from German design skills, while Smart gained access to Geely's engineering and electric vehicle technologies. Geely was able to learn about making EVs for international markets, and Smart got the technical support needed to compete. Geely's expansion did not always mean taking full control. In May 2023, Geely became the third largest shareholder in Aston Martin by raising its stake to 17%. Geely did not control daily operations and help Aston Martin build its brand in China. This let Geely learn about luxury branding and high-performance cars without direct risk. Aston Martin, in turn, gained access to new technology. Geely picked brands known for their special skills, supported them, and learned from them. The company let Lotus, Smart, and Aston Martin stay independent, which avoided the problem of made-in-China bias in premium markets. This choice to keep brands separate was intentional. Geely knew many buyers in luxury and performance markets were careful about brand origins. By acting as a background partner, Geely could support these brands while protecting their images. Geely also benefited from China's Go Out policy, which encouraged overseas investments. This policy made it easier for Geely to buy foreign assets and bring in new technology. Geely's rise to global recognition included public tests in courtrooms and the marketplace. In 2009, Geely showed its Excellence concept car, which looked like a Rolls-Royce Phantom. This led to criticism about copying. Geely changed the design by 2011, showing it was moving toward its own look and away from imitation. As Geely grew, it began to take more action to protect its intellectual property. In 2018, Geely filed a lawsuit against WM Motor, accusing the company of using its trade secrets without permission. In 2024, the court ordered WM Motor to pay Geely 640 million renminbi, the largest compensation of this type ever awarded in China. This case highlights Geely's strong dedication to safeguarding its innovations. Some cases ended differently. In 1999, Geely registered Li Shufu, which sounds like Land Rover. When Land Rover entered China, a legal battle began. In 2011, the court ruled against Geely, saying the trademark was registered in bad faith. This case showed that Chinese courts were getting stricter about international trademarks. Geely took it as a lesson in fair competition. Beyond legal disputes, Geely also faced operational problems. In 2023, a parts shortage for the Geely Coolray in the Philippines led to customer complaints and negative posts online. Headquarters responded by opening a parts center in Cabuyao, Laguna. Through these experiences, Geely learned to balance cost, quality, and brand value. Past setbacks led to more investment in research, design, and customer care. The company learned from working with Volvo, Lotus, and Smart, raising its standards and adapting to new market expectations. Smart Geely 2025 strategy sets clear goals for growth, technology, and sustainability. The company plans to reach 2.71 million vehicle sales in 2025, aiming for 1 million of those from its Geely Galaxy new energy models. Geely wants to strengthen its place in the electric vehicle market as demand for cleaner cars rises. Competition is fierce, with companies such as BYD and Xiaomi Auto adding cutting-edge technology to their cars. Geely plans to stand out by building a mobility ecosystem that uses AI, alternative fuels, and intelligent systems. A key goal is to fully use AI in all areas of vehicle development and production by 2025. Geely is creating systems that connect intelligent cockpits, self-driving, and vehicle networks. To do this, it is building supercomputing centers and investing in satellite internet, which lets cars communicate, navigate in real time, and update themselves. Sustainability is another focus. Geely aims to cut carbon emissions per vehicle by 25% by 2025 from 2020 levels, with an 18% cut already achieved. The company is using more recyclable materials, zero-waste factories, and energy-saving methods. Geely's group brands, including Volvo and Zeekr, are also working toward carbon goals and sharing green technology. This teamwork helps raise standards across all brands and supports Geely's shift to more sustainable cars. Geely faces challenges such as shifting global markets and tighter regulations on Chinese technology. Ensuring data security and compliance with local standards are major concerns. To address these, Geely is partnering with companies like Qualcomm to enhance chip technology and meet regulatory requirements. The company is also developing hydrogen fuel cells and methanol-powered vehicles to serve regions with strong electric infrastructure and reduce reliance on a single energy type. Geely expects overseas sales to grow by over 15% in 2025 and is focusing on markets with strict emissions rules like Europe and North America. The Smart Geely 2025 plan aims to reshape Geely's reputation by prioritizing high quality, advanced smart technology, and sustainability, building on its previous experience. Geely's future success will depend on meeting these objectives and overcoming challenges in the industry.
青少年过渡期呢，我是骑自行车做生意的；青年时期呢，我骑了摩托车创业。30岁以后，进入汽车这个产业。因为改革开放的浪潮，把我这样的农民推上了经济建设的风口。对我而言，今天的一切都是因为运气。我必须心怀感恩，不能重来，那就不能重来，是一次性的从来没有人发现这个人死了又回来了，没有人生不能重来，只能一路向前。